Webster ready to get this thing started. And the tip is up, and it'll go back to the Huskers, controlled by Ty Webster. And it'll come into the front court for Nebraska to get this thing started. Webster working off a screen from Morrow, looking down on throws a cross-court pass, caught by Anton Gill. Gill working to the inside, looking for Evan Taylor. He finds him, now kicks it back out to Anton Gill. Resets the offense, gets a screen from Taylor. Gill still working inside, still with the basketball. Now working it back down inside, finds Ed Morrow Jr. Jr. tries to kick it to Michael Jacobson. It's stolen away by Gardner-Webb coming the other way. It's Jamal Robideau who sets it up and now gets it back outside to LaQuincy Rideau, who will set up the offense working on Evan Taylor.
Yeah, not a great possession there for Nebraska. They had 7 seconds to shoot, just tried to force it inside, and Gardner-Webb was definitely ready for it.
Tyrell Nelson works it inside to LaQuincy Rideau. Rideau with a turnaround jumper over Evan Taylor. No good. Rebound goes to Ed Morrow, who is fouled by Rideau on the rebound there. Quite a height advantage for Ed Morrow Jr., and they're going to get Rideau with the foul. That's the first of the game for either team, and so it's the first foul for Gardner-Webb.
Yeah, Rideau's 6'1", and Ed Morrow comes in at 6'7". So yeah, quite a height advantage. So good defensive stop there by Nebraska. Gardner-Webb had the chance to take the first lead, but a nice job by Morrow to not only get the rebound but force the foul.
We see Evan Taylor bringing the ball up the court off a light press by Gardner-Webb to get things started. Ed Morrow Jr. at the top of the key, hands it off to Ty Webster. Webster trying to work his way inside, back to Morrow. Morrow working up and puts it, and just misses it. Jacobson with the follow, does not go as well. Rebound goes to LaQuincy Rideau for Gardner-Webb coming the other way. Rideau kicks it to Liam O'Reilly. O'Reilly working on Webster to the right side. Finds Robideau. Robideau working down, kicks it to the right side. Shot fake, back goes to Liam O'Reilly for three. Off the iron, no good. Rebound goes to Ed Morrow. Finds Evan Taylor coming up the right side for the Huskers.
Neither offense playing very well right now, but nice rebound by Evan Taylor, making his first career start as a Husker, the junior transfer out of Samford.
Evan Taylor with the basketball to the left side. Goes to Ty Webster, working off a screen from Morrow. Webster, step back, three ball on the way. Off the mark, no good. Rebound goes to Ed Morrow, already his third of the game. And that one's an offensive board. Kicks it out to a wide open Anton Gill. Works his way inside. Gill up, and it doesn't go. And the rebound by Ed Morrow doesn't go as well. And now here comes Liam O'Reilly for the Bulldogs. Working on Anton Gill. Now kicks it down inside to Tyrell Nelson. Nelson working on Jacobson. Puts it up and puts it in for the first points of the game. Up and over Michael Jacobson. Tyrell Nelson gets the ball rolling here a little over 2 minutes into the game. 17:45 to go. It's 2-0 Bulldogs.
Yeah, 12.5 points 12.5 points a game for Nelson. He's their senior leader, much like Ty Webster. We mentioned it. Preseason runner-up, Big South Player of the Year. Great shot by him.
Webster looking for Morrow on the block. Can't find him, and it's stolen away by the Bulldogs, and they're running. Here they come. And now we're going to get a foul as LaQuincy Rideau was working the ball inside, and they're going to get Evan Taylor with a foul. That's his first, and the Huskers' first team foul of the game. And so it'll be a throw-in here for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, 2 turnovers for Nebraska inside the first 3 minutes, and Gardner-Webb has a chance to go up 2 scores here.
Kicks it outside to Liam O'Reilly, works it down inside, and a big stuff by Ed Morrow on Lasan Nyangane, who was going up for a scoop and score, but Ed Morrow says no, and Morrow's having a terrific first few minutes here. Already has 4 rebounds, and that's a block.
Yeah, 4 rebounds, a block, and he almost got the tip in on the opposite side in the previous possession. He's been doing it all. Someone else has to step up defensively.
Liam O'Reilly with the basketball, and they're going to hit a moving screen against the Bulldogs. Can't tell who they're going to get with that. I think they're going to get Lasan Nyangane with that, and he's going to check out of the game.
Yeah, it's interesting. Nyangane, he has started all 11 games so far for Gardner-Webb, but he only averages 14.8 minutes a game and only averages 2.4 points per game. So I guess Coach Kraft thinks he looks good coming off the bus, coming on the floor, but obviously not much of a scoring threat for the running Bulldogs.
Brandon Miller checks in for Gardner-Webb. And they're going to get Liam O'Reilly with a foul now on Gardner-Webb as he was working against Evan Taylor. And that's the third team foul against Gardner-Webb now. Ty Webster throws it in to Evan Taylor, who slows it down here to set up the offense. Now the left side, Ty Webster. Webster trying to work down to the right side. Goes up, and they're going to get him with a travel. It did look like steps to me. He took a few big Euro steps as he was trying to work it inside toward Ed Morrow. But they're getting him with a travel, and that's another turnover for Nebraska. Still no points for the Huskers 3 minutes into the game. And here comes LaQuincy Rideau, who hands it off now to Liam O'Reilly. O'Reilly Now back to Jamal Robiteau, working on Webster, down inside, on the block to Tyrell Nelson, puts it up, can't get the roll. Ed Morrow with another rebound, kicks it out to Ty Webster.
Yeah, four rebounds for the Huskers inside the first 3 minutes.
Webster now working to the right side, finds Evan Taylor. Taylor on the block to Ed Morrow, double team, has to work his way out of it, kicks it back out to Webster. Webster to the left side, Anton Gill for three, can't get the roll. But Ed Morrow comes down with the rebound, and now another foul called on Gardner-Webb. That's the fourth team foul already.
Yeah, neither team has come out super sharp out of the chute. Nebraska over their first 6 from the floor. Gardner-Webb just 1 of 5 offensively. You mentioned it. Now 4 fouls inside 3.5 minutes, and we've mentioned it too. Nebraska 4 turnovers inside these first 3.5 minutes.
They'll hit Brandon Miller with that foul on the last end, and now a 3 ball from Ty Webster, and he knocks it down, and that's the first points for the Huskers today, and the fans can finally sit down as they always stand until the Huskers get their first points of the day. Come the other end, come the Bulldogs. Now to the left side, down to the corner to LaQuincy Rideau. Went down to the baseline and tried to kick it back to the other side toward Jamal Robiteau, but he's fouled on the way. And they're going to get Jacobson with that foul. Checking into the game for Nebraska on the last time out was Glenn Watson Jr., who we now see into the game. Came in for Evan Taylor. Anton Gill on defense against Liam O'Reilly. Now back to O'Reilly. Now inside to Tyrell Nelson, working on Jacobson. And they're going to get him with steps. Traveling, working on Michael Jacobson on the block, and that's another turnover. We've seen a lot of turnovers by both teams in this game. Already 6 for both teams combined, or 6 turnovers combined in this game already.
And that's a pretty decent matchup right there, Zach. Tyrell Nelson 6'7", Jacobson 6'9". Mike did what he had to do, just boxed out right underneath the hoop, didn't give Nelson an inch, and got him to shuffle the feet. So that's the second Gardner-Webb turnover, and that 3 ball by Webster gives Nebraska the lead, so now they can kind of build off of this.
Anton Gill works it down to the block to Ed Morrow, who's double teamed, kicks it back to Jacobson, who's lost the basketball, and again, here come the Bulldogs. They come up with it, and now they're running on the other end, all the way to Liam O'Reilly, all the way to the rack, and scores. Great distribution off the other end by LaQuincy Rideau to find Liam O'Reilly running down the floor and puts it up and in. Now on the other end, it's Glenn Watson Jr. Looking for Ty Webster. Huskers trail 4-3, 15-20 to go in the first half. Finds Ed Morrow, kicks it out. Glenn Watson into the corner for Gill. He'll try another 3, and he misses that one as well. Rebound by Jamal Robiteau. Here come the Bulldogs trying to increase their 4-3 lead.
Yeah, with those 2 missed threes, Gill now 6 of 25 from downtown on the season.
Tyrell Nelson with the basketball, kicks it back to O'Reilly. O'Reilly to the right side. Now inside to Brandon Miller. Miller working on Morrow, can't get the roll to fall. Here comes Ty Webster off the rebound from Morrow. Webster looking all the way, tries to go coast to coast, and does, and scores. Ty Webster running the length of the floor, has all 5 points for the Huskers here early on. It's 5-4 Nebraska, 14:44 to go in the first half.
Already our third lead change, another travel by Gardner-Webb.
There's another travel by Tyrell Nelson. That's already his second traveling call of the game. That's going to be the third turnover by Gardner-Webb, and we've hit the first media timeout of the afternoon. 14:41 to go here in the first half. Huskers on top of the Bulldogs, 5-4. You're listening to Husker Basketball on 90.3 KRNU. Welcome back to Pinnacle Bank Arena. Zach Penrice alongside Tommy Rezac here for Nebraska at Gardner-Webb. Nebraska currently leads 5-4 here with 14:41 to go in the first half. And Tommy, we've seen all 5 points for Nebraska coming from Ty Webster, the only senior on the team. We've seen a lot of misses. Nebraska only shooting 22% from the field early on. Gardner-Webb not a whole lot better, 28%. What have you seen from both teams early on?
Well, I think we've talked about, you and I, Zach, have talked a lot about this season how Nebraska's a predictable team. In a lot of ways they have been. I mean, Ty Webster putting the team on his back. What else is new? Ty coming off those 22 points against Kansas. He's the third best scorer in the Big Ten, and he's been in double figures in all 10 games. Ty showing the senior leadership when his team isn't playing well. We've seen that here early. But, one thing that's kind of unprecedented, I guess, is just this sloppy of basketball. I mean, we saw Nebraska kind of start like this against Creighton, the 10th best team in the country. But, 2 of 9 and those 4 turnovers, those are glaring. But Nebraska gets the ball first out of this timeout, so a chance to get a lead bigger than 1 point. They haven't led by more than 1 point all game long here, so a chance to build on some momentum.
Nebraska with the basketball. Isaiah Roby just checked into the game, and he's on the floor now with Nebraska alongside Jack McVeigh, who just checked in. And now we have a score for Nebraska by Glenn Watson Jr., who drove into the lane and floated it up and in. Gardner-Webb now with the basketball. Just checking into the game for them. David Effiani and DJ Laster for the first time today are both in for the Bulldogs. Now trying to work his way inside is LaQuincy Rideau, and he stepped on the end line. That's a turnover. as he was looking to try and kick it back out to Jamal Roboto. Couldn't find him, and it's a turnover for the Bulldogs. Nebraska gets the ball back in a light press coming once again from the Bulldogs, but the inbound from Roby goes to Ty Webster, who brings it up, working against LaQuincy Rideau.
I like that, though, by Gardner-Webb playing press early because traditionally Nebraska has struggled against that type of defense, and obviously they haven't been sharp to start this game offensively.
Webster tries to work his way inside, tries to dish it to Jordy Shamanga, who just checked into the game, but he can't find him. Now into the corner goes to Justin Jank, or excuse me, that's not Justin Jank, that is David Effiani, who tries to go up and under and does not get the roll. Going the other way for Nebraska is Ty Webster. He can't get it to go. But Isaiah Roby, the freshman for Nebraska, can get the follow to go down. And so Nebraska currently increases their lead 9-4, 13:30 to go in the first half. And here comes Gardner-Webb the other way. LaQuincy Rideau with the basketball, hands it off to David Effiani, back to Rideau. Rideau working his way inside, now kicks it outside. And a three ball coming, and it's no good. Rebound goes to Jack McVeigh. Kick out Glenn Watson Jr. The Huskers are running. Finds Isaiah Roby. Roby goes to the rack and scores. Isaiah Roby scores the last four for Nebraska. Timeout, Gardner-Webb. Isaiah Roby scores 4 points in about 40 seconds there. It's an 8-0 run for Nebraska over the last minute 44. That's a quick timeout. It should be a 30-second timeout for Gardner-Webb. Tommy, what a run for the Huskers right there.
Yeah, nice job here by head coach Tim Miles. Obviously, his players haven't played in 8 days. This is quite an adjustment from playing number 3 Kansas in Lawrence 8 days ago. So, you know, it's not a huge surprise that Nebraska was lethargic to start, but yeah, now a nice 8-0 run. Those are Isaiah Roby's first points since the Creighton game, where he also scored 4 points, was only played 13 minutes against Kansas. Roby did 3 boards and 2 assists, but the kid can move. I mean, how about that baseline move to scoop it up and in with a defender in his face? So great play here by Roby. You're starting to see Nebraska distribute the wealth a little bit. Now they got 3 players who have scored some points. And, 7-point lead. Just got to keep the foot on the gas pedal and build a solid lead as you inch closer to halftime.
Evan Taylor checks back in for Nebraska, and checking in for the first time for Gardner-Webb is Patrick Zeck on their end. And Zeck finds DJ Laster. Laster kicks it over to Liam O'Reilly, now into the corner. Now kicks it back out. 3 ball on the way by Christian Turner, and he knocks it down. And so Gardner-Webb crawling back into this game. It's 11-7. They trail now on the other end, and Roby kicks into the corner. Wide open Jack McVeigh for 3. Can't get it to fall. Rebound goes to David Effiani, who's running up the right side for Gardner-Webb, working on Jack McVeigh. Now kicks it down inside. He was looking for Patrick Zeck, and it's turned over. Now it's turned over by McVeigh the other way. Now a 3 for Liam O'Reilly. Can't get that to fall. Scramble for the basketball. And they're going to get a foul call on Nebraska as Patrick Zeck was going for the basketball with Evan Taylor. And they're going to get Evan Taylor with a foul. And that will be Taylor's second personal foul, and it looks like he's going to come out for the half as Anton Gill checks in for Taylor.
Yeah, hasn't been quite the ideal first career start there for Evan Taylor, but Christian Turner, that was his first triple of his career, the true freshman out of Atlanta. That was only the third 3-ball that Gardner-Webb has taken all game, so heck of a shot. They're only down 4, and they nailed another shot here. It's back to a 1-score game.
And to the right side it goes to it goes to DJ Laster. He can't get the shot to fall. And now Glenn Watson Jr. coming up the left side for Nebraska. Gets it back to Isaiah Roby. Roby back to Glenn Watson. Watson looking for Shamanga on the block. He finds him. Shamanga working against Patrick Zeck. Quite a mismatch down there. And Shamanga loses the basketball, and here comes Gardner-Webb. They come up with it. Here comes Liam O'Reilly flying down the court. Kicks it back outside.
These Bulldogs like to run.
David Effiani working against Isaiah Roby. Double team on the block. Can't find anything. Now gets it back to Laster. Pulls up for a jumper and hits it. That's actually Tyrell Nelson, not DJ Laster. They get Tyrell Nelson with the score. It's a 2-point game again. 11-9. Huskers lead. 11:30 to go.
Yeah, how about a dozen turnovers here in the first 8.5 minutes, and Tyrell Nelson now a team-high 4 points. The senior leader on this Gardner-Webb team playing with some poise here on the road.
A sloppy game first early on in this game as Isaiah Roby was looking for Shamanga on the block, but it's going to be off of the leg of a Gardner-Webb defender. And we've hit the second media timeout of the afternoon. 11:26 to go. Huskers lead the Bulldogs 11-9. You're listening to Nebraska basketball on 90.3 KRNU.
You're listening to Nebraska Cornhusker basketball on 90.3 KRNU and online at krnu.unl.edu.
Alongside Tommy Rezac here. Thanks for joining or spending your afternoon with us here. It's a cold day out there in Lincoln, Nebraska. About 5 degrees or so right now. as Nebraska is on top of Gardner-Webb, but only by 2 points, 11-9 here with 11:20 to go as Nebraska inbounds it. And Glenn Watson works off a screen from Jordy Shamango. Now Watson pulls up for a jumper off the right side and is fouled on the shot, and it won't go. But Glenn Watson's fouled as he went up for that. And they're going to get Christian Turner with the foul. That's his first personal. And that's the 5th foul against Gardner-Webb. Glenn Watson will go to the line for 2 shots here.
And Glenn Watson with 2 points here early in this game, and he's overall a pretty reliable free throw shooter, 89%. He's actually the best shooter on this team, and the first one is, did he make it?
Just short.
Okay, I was looking down. I didn't see what happened. But anyway, Nebraska, as you mentioned, Zach, went on that 8-0 run to pull ahead 11-4 as the second one is good. So that ends a 5-0 run by Gardner-Webb. So Nebraska up 3, still a one-score game. Let's see how Gardner-Webb responds offensively coming out of that media timeout.
Tyrell Nelson with the basketball, hands it off to David Effiani now. Or trying to work his way inside, and he was trying to get past Shimanga, but the follow-up by Lasan Nyangane is absolutely thrown down for Gardner-Webb, and now it's 12-11. It's a 1-point game with the follow by Nyangane right there for Gardner-Webb. It's a 1-point game. On the other end, it's Glenn Watson Jr. working his way inside, kicks it out to Jack McVeigh for 3, and it won't go, but before the kick out to McVeigh, they're going to get a foul on Lasan Nyangane. And that's going to be another foul for Gardner-Webb, the 6th team foul.
Yeah, second personal on Nyangane. That dunk was only his 7th bucket of the year. That's kind of hard to believe for a guy that started 11 games. But, yeah, what a nice putback and jam by the big man out of France.
Outside to Ty Webster now, 23 on the shot clock. 10:40 to go here in the first half. 12-11 Huskers lead. Ty Webster with a cross-court pass to Isaiah Roby, working down inside to Morrow, outside to Roby, and a free ball, not a very good pass, and there was no backcourt violation as it went back, but now the refs are going to stop it and discuss this. It looked to me like it touched a Nebraska player.
See, I thought, from my perspective, it touched Tyrell Nelson last, and that I think it was poked loose by Nelson. I think that's why it's not over and back, so now Roby will take it from midcourt on the far side.
Glenn Watson trying to work his way up the court. Now does and finds Ed Morrow inside, who puts it in. Great little feed there over the top of the defender. And Ed Morrow puts it in. Great assist by Glenn Watson Jr. And Ed Morrow's, that's his first points of the afternoon.
Yeah, that's what makes Watson such a good point guard. That's his 29th assist of the game. He's been distributing the ball pretty well here early.
A pass that went toward the Husker bench by David Effiani does not find the man he was looking for, Liam O'Reilly, and it sails out of bounds, and so it'll go back to the Cornhuskers here. And Glenn Watson will walk up the floor. 10 minutes to go, midway through the first half here. 14-11, Huskers lead.
Watson hasn't scored in double figures since December 1st, but a good start here for him. 3 points, 2 assists, and a rebound in 7 minutes.
Webster tries to find Morrow on the block, and Morrow is fouled by Brandon Miller from behind. Getting a lot of fouls called against Gardner-Webb. Nebraska goes into the bonus here with 9:49 to go. And so they're going to be shooting free throws the rest of the way here in the first half. And then Morrow goes to the line for 1 and 1.
And if you ask me, Zach, this is a pretty ideal situation for Nebraska. No, you're not shooting as well as you'd like to. You're turning it over more than you'd wish. I mean, Gardner-Webb has hung around for these first 10 minutes. But we mentioned Nebraska's the 13th best free throw shooting team in the country, but the front end is no good.
The front end is no good, and the rebound goes to Gardner-Webb. Here comes Christian Turner, bringing it up the floor. Now dishes it off to Tyrell Nelson, who gives it to O'Reilly. O'Reilly finds Patrick Zeck. Zeck now finding it inside to Tyrell Nelson, working on Morrow. Nelson goes up. He's fouled, and the shot will not go, but he'll go to the line for 2. They get Ed Morrow with a foul there. That's Morrow's first personal foul. That'll be Nebraska's 4th team foul. Nebraska still with a 3-point lead here, 14-11, 9:32 to go in the first half, and Tyrell Nelson goes to the line for 2.
Well, now you wonder how much of an advantage free throw shooting is for Nebraska. 1 of 3 to start, and this is Gardner-Webb's first trip.
Tyrell Nelson knocks down the first. Gardner-Webb, the worst free throw shooting team in the entire country. But they knocked down their first free throw right there. They're ranked 347th in the nation with 57% from the line. That's dead last amongst NCAA Division I teams. Nelson's second free throw is in and out. Rebound goes to Ed Morrow. Another rebound for him. Dishes it out to Glenn Watson, who walks it up the court. Watson trying to work off the screen from Morrow. Can't find it. Now gets it into the corner to Taylor, looking for Morrow on the block. Morrow scrambles for it. Now gets it, tries to put it up and in, and can't get it to roll. Gardner-Webb running the other end. Here comes LaQuincy Rideau. Rideau Now to the left side, David Effiani. Effiani working against Morrow, puts it up and can't get it to roll. He was working up against the much bigger Morrow and couldn't find the end of the hole. And here comes Ty Webster now the other way.
Jariah Horn, the freshman, with a rebound. We've barely seen any of him in recent weeks.
Jariah Horn is on the floor, and he has the basketball right now, looking for Morrow on the block. Can't find him. Now back to the top of the key as Webster reset the offense. 11 on the shot clock here. Webster trying to find his way inside. Can't find anybody. Kicks it out. Watson, he'll try a three ball. In and out. Can't find it. Morrow going for the rebound, and they're going to get Morrow with a foul there. He was going for the board against two Bulldogs. And now the refs are discussing it. They seem indecisive on who they're going to call this foul on.
Well, now they're going to call it on Tyrell Nelson.
So they will get Tyrell Nelson with the foul.
Yeah, I think that's the right call. Looked like Ed Morrow was just trying to box out for a rebound. You mentioned it. He's been 8 boards already. He's only 1 of 4 shooting for 2 points. He is 0 for 1 in his last free throw trip. But, yeah, Ed Morrow's been rebounding at a very high level lately, as he'll make the front end there. But, yeah, career-high 13 rebounds against Creighton here 11 days ago, and then 16 points and then 7 boards against Kansas. He was the second-best scorer for Nebraska 8 days ago. So, yeah, his game has been very solid here in recent weeks. Second free throw for Morrow is up and in. So he hits 2 of his last 3, hits those 2 there. Nebraska has a 4-point lead, 16-12, 8:33 to go in the first half. Here comes LaQuincy Rideau for the Bulldogs on the other end, working against Glenn Watson. Almost loses it. Now does lose it, throws it away. Here comes Ed Morrow. Morrow all the way and loses the ball, but he gets fouled on the way up. They're going to get Patrick Zeck, who was trying to come back and defend defensively. That's who the pass was intended for from LaQuincy Rideau, but Morrow stole it away, went all the way to the other end, and lost it on the way up for a shot. He'll go to the line for 2 more free throws here. Yeah, now a steal and a block in this game also for Ed Morrow. Gardner-Webb has 6 steals to start this game. That was only the second by Nebraska, so a nice defensive play. And now both teams being called to their benches here. For reasons unclear. They're going to review something. They might be reviewing who they're going to call that foul on, but it's the signing between LaQuincy Rideau or Patrick Zeck, because those are the 2 guys that were running right with Ed Morrow Jr. on the other end. Either way, it's a foul. Either way, Morrow's shooting 2 here. It's just a matter of who the foul is on. And Gardner-Webb has not gotten any points in the last 2 minutes and 42 seconds. Their last points came from a Tyrell Nelson free throw at the 9:32 mark, so there's an opportunity for Nebraska to get on a bit of a scoring run. They haven't led by any more than 7 points. They will keep that foul against Zeck as Morrow's first free throw rattles home. Morrow actually kind of struggles from the free throw line coming into today. 11 of 17, that's 64%. But with that make, he's now 3 of 4 on this day, so that'll hopefully he can, for himself personally, he can bump that percentage up a little bit. And Morrow's second free throw attempt does not go. Still has 5 points and 8 rebounds for the 6'10 sophomore. Here come the other end is Gardner-Webb. LaQuincy Rideau with the basketball, and they're going to call a foul against. So they're going to get Glenn Watson. That's it. They will get Glenn Watson working against Zeck. Trying to work off a screen there. May have got an elbow straight into the abdomen there against Zeck, and they're going to call Glenn Watson with a foul. That's the 15th foul for Nebraska. Gardner-Webb still working. Great move by LaQuincy Rideau as he works inside, all against Nebraska. Puts it up, puts it in against 3 Nebraska defenders. LaQuincy Rideau, a very impressive drive over Ty Webster. And here comes the other end to Nebraska. Now it is Ty Webster with the basketball, trying to work his way inside. Puts it up, can't get it to fall. Morrow going for the rebound, can't get it. Gardner-Webb comes up with it. It's LaQuincy Rideau. Kicks it to the left side, across the court. Now into the corner, Liam O'Reilly working off a screen from Zeck. Now gets it back to LaQuincy Rideau, working inside. And he was working on Jariah Horn. And they're going to get a foul called against Nebraska. And they're going to get Jariah Horn with the foul there. And so LaQuincy Rideau will head to the free throw line after a timeout on the floor. 7:39 to go. Huskers lead the Bulldogs 17-14. You're listening to Nebraska basketball on 90.3 KRNU.
You're listening to Nebraska men's basketball live on 90.3 KRNU and at krnu.unl.edu.
Welcome back to Pinnacle Bank Arena. Husker basketball here on 90.3 KRNU. Zach Penrice alongside Tommy Rezac. 7:39 to go here in the opening 20 minutes of this game between Nebraska and Gardner-Webb. Nebraska holds a slim lead, 17-14. Both teams not shooting the basketball very well. Nebraska 33% from the field, 16% from three, 57% from the line. Gardner-Webb 35% from the field, 25% from three, and 50% from the line. And following a foul by Jariah Horn before the media timeout there, LaQuincy Rideau heads to the free throw line to shoot 2 shots here and can make it a 1-point game.
It feels like the half is dragging on a little bit. We've seen a lot of stoppage of play with the high amount of turnovers as that first free throw is no good. But, yeah, 6 fouls on Nebraska, 9 on Gardner-Webb, and then each team with 7 turnovers respectively. So, yeah, been a lot of stoppage in play. So, yeah, the half is and the next free throw goes in, so Gardner-Webb only down 2 now. But, yeah, with the sloppy play each way, a lot of missed shots and whatnot, yeah, both teams not playing very well, and that has kind of made this half seem a little lethargic for both teams.
Ty Webster makes a move against his man, tries to go all the way to the rack, and gets fouled on his way up. So he'll head back to the free throw line. They're going to get number 24, Patrick Zeck, with the foul. That's the 10th team foul against the Bulldogs. So Nebraska shooting 2 free throws for every foul the rest of the way here in the first half. And that's Zeck's second personal foul of the afternoon.
And Webster has shot the most free throws for this Husker team.
That first one does not go. Checking into the game for Nebraska is Isaiah Roby. Checking out is Jariah Horn.
And Nebraska, an uncharacteristic 50% from free throws, 4 of 8 to start. But Webster has shot the most. He's taken 56 free throws, made 44 of them. That's 78%, the third best percentage on the team. Let's see if he can knock the second one through, and he does.
3-point lead for Nebraska, 18-15, 7:27 to go here in the first half. Huskers clinging to a slim lead. LaQuincy Rideau with the basketball to the right side.
Just going to say Nebraska hasn't made a field goal offensively the last 3 minutes.
DJ Laster working inside against Morrow. Puts it up, puts it in. Over Ed Morrow. It's a 1-point game. Gardner-Webb's hanging around here.
6 different Bulldogs have now scored a point in this game.
Evan Taylor with the basketball. Gardner-Webb moves into a 2-3 zone defensively. That could confuse the Huskers. Ty Webster trying to work his way inside. Loses the basketball. Now trying to find Anton Gill. Can't find him, and it's going to stay with Nebraska. Good defense there by LaQuincy Rideau working against Ty Webster. Now Anton Gill will inbound it for Nebraska. 6:56 to go. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Evan Taylor with it. Trying to work his way inside. Taylor pulls up just in front of the free throw line and scores. Evan Taylor. Now coming the other way. Gardner-Webb. LaQuincy Rideau with it.
Feel good shot there for Taylor, coming off 8 points against KU, and those are his first points in his first career start.
LaQuincy Rideau is rejected by Morrow. Coming the other way quickly is Nebraska. Evan Taylor finds Anton Gill, and he has steps. He walks with it. Anton Gill turns it over. That's Nebraska's 8th turnover of the game. Been a very sloppy first half for both teams. 15 total turnovers in this first half, and coming the other way is Gardner-Webb.
I like that pass by Taylor. Gill was open, and then Gill kind of stutter-stepped, hesitated with the basketball. That gave Gardner-Webb time to cover him defensively, and as you saw, Anton Gill got flustered, shuffled the feet, and it's another turnover.
Into the corner, it's Jamal Roboto for 3, in and out. Could have tied the game, but the offensive rebound goes to LaQuincy Rideau, and the shot goes up, and it will not go in. But he's fouled on the shot, and I think they're going to get Ed Morrow. No, they're going to get Evan Taylor with foul. That's his 3rd personal foul of the first half. I was surprised to see him back in this game, Tommy Rezac, with just the 2 fouls already in the first half, but they bring him back in, and he gets his 3rd.
Yeah, it looks like Glenn Watson's getting ready to check in for him.
Quincy Rideau's first free throw is no good. He's struggled from the free throw line, as we know. As Glenn Watson does check back in for Evan Taylor here. Gardner-Webb, the worst free throw shooting team in the entire nation. 57% from the line on the season. That's 347th nationally. Yeah, the second free throw does not go as well. Rebound to Ed Morrow. That's his 9th rebound of the opening half.
Yeah, Rideau himself only 50% from the charity stripe this season.
Anton Gill. Now to the left side, it's Glenn Watson still working against that 2-3 zone. It's definitely confusing Nebraska. Gets it back to Ty Webster, working inside, finds Isaiah Roby. Now inside to Webster. Webster puts it up, puts it in, off the glass and in against 2 different Gardner-Webb defenders, and it's a 5-point lead for Nebraska, 22-17, 5:45 to go in the first half. Here comes the other way, come the Bulldogs. LaQuincy Rideau working inside and finds Tyrell Nelson, who puts it in against no defenders. Ed Morrow, that's his man, couldn't get down there in time.
Just going to say, left wide open, we talked about. That's a pretty good matchup for Ed Morrow, and he's been pretty spectacular these first 15 minutes. But, yeah, big defensive misstep by Morrow, another miss by Nebraska.
Coming the other way is Gardner-Webb after the miss to the right side for a 3-ball is Liam O'Reilly, and he knocks it down, and we are tied. It's 22-all with 5:14 to go here in the first half, and a timeout by Tim Miles. That'll be a 30-second timeout, Tommy, so we'll keep it right here on 90.3 KRNU. What is going on with Nebraska here? They're tied with Gardner-Webb, who's a team that's 6-5 in the Big. They're 6-5 coming out of the Big South Conference. This is not traditionally a very good basketball team. What's going on here?
Well, let's keep in mind this Tim Miles team has lost to Incarnate Word here in Lincoln 2 years ago, and then, of course, the Sanford Bulldogs came in here right about this time of year, mid to late December. It was Christmas break, and Sanford came in here, won by 11 points. And, here we are, tie ball game as that was only the second triple Gardner-Webb has made. What happened on that last possession, Ty Webster got it stolen away. Webster's turned it over 4 times. Rideau got his second steal of the game, and then a beautiful assist from Rideau to O'Reilly, wide open left wing, and that was probably the most clutch shot by either team so far in this game. So Nebraska, they have to respond coming out of this timeout.
Isaiah Roby with the basketball to the right side. Glenn Watson still working against that 2-3 zone. Now into the corner, it's Anton Gill, pulls up for a mid-range jumper, doesn't get it to go. And the rebound goes to Gardner-Webb, and now a foul is going to be called against the Bulldogs. They're going to get Jamal Roboto with the foul. That's his first personal, and it was against Jordy Shimanga. So Jordy Shimanga is going to head to the line for Nebraska. Traditionally not a good free throw shooter, but he gets 2. As Nebraska is in the double bonus here, so Shimanga will shoot 2 for the Huskers. 5 minutes exactly to go.
And Shimanga not terrible, 12 of 17, that's 71%, and he gives Nebraska the lead back with that first make. But Anton Gill on that last miss, he's now 0 of 4 to start. And you look at his last few games, Anton Gill shooting from the floor, 2 of 6, 0 of 4, 0 of 2, 2 of 6, 1 of 10 against UCLA, as the next free throw is good. So nice job by Shimanga to make both. But Gill getting the start, but I don't know what it is with Anton. You know, this is game number 11, and it seems like he is still ice cold whenever he's shooting.
LaQuincy Rideau kicks it into the corner for a 3-ball on the way, and it's hit. A 3-ball coming from DJ Laster, and the Bulldogs lead 25-24. Gardner-Webb on top, 4:38 to go in the first half here. And coming the other way is Ty Webster, puts it up off the glass and in. Ty Webster with the drive, scores. Seems like he can do that all day. Whenever he's tried it, he seems to have success, and he found it again right there. Now coming quickly the other way, Gardner-Webb, LaQuincy Rideau puts it up and cannot get the roll on the shot, but he's fouled by Jordy Shimanga. And so he'll head back to the free throw line where he hasn't been very good today, but still more foul shots coming for Gardner-Webb.
Yeah, DJ Laster was Shimanga's man. I really like what Laster did on that previous possession. He was baseline, then he just squirted out to the left corner. Completely fooled Shimanga. Shimanga's not the fastest guy down there. Laster was wide open for 3. That's back-to-back triples by Gardner-Webb. Now they got a chance to take the lead with these 2 free throws. And by the way, Ty Webster has now scored double figures in every single game this year for Nebraska. Same old, same old. Webster putting the team on the back.
LaQuincy Rideau misses the first free throw. He has not been good from the charity stripe today. He's now 1 of 5 from the free throw line. Not good at all. More of the same for Gardner-Webb, as the second free throw is good. And so we are tied at 26 apiece here once again. 4:20 to go in the first half. Coming the other way for Nebraska is Glenn Watson Jr. trying to work off a screen from Jordy Shimanga. Kicks it into the left corner, Jack McVeigh. McVeigh trying to work his way down inside. Finds Shimanga, now on the block. Shimanga trying to work against DJ Laster. Kicks it back to Glenn Watson. Watson with the drive against LaQuincy Rideau and scores. Nebraska back on top. 28-26 to go, or 28-26. Nebraska leads it. 3:55 to go in the first half. Now coming the other way, LaQuincy Rideau working against Glenn Watson. Gets a screen from Laster. Kicks it into the corner to Jamal Roboto. Tries to find another man, and the ball is stolen away by Jack McVeigh. Dishes it to Anton Gill, who goes all the way to the rack and scores. Nebraska now with a 4-point lead at 30-26.
And now 7 different Huskers have cashed in points. Anton Gill, nice basket there after scoring 7 against KU last weekend.
TJ Lasser with the basketball, finds LaQuincy Rideau, trying to work it inside, now finds Roboteau, working against Ty Webster, kicks it back to the left side, now finds LaQuincy Rideau, finds Tyrell Nelson, who's working against Shamanga. Great pump fake, and puts it up and in. Shamanga fell for the pump fake and left his feet. Rule number 1 of defense, don't leave your feet on a pump fake. He fell for it.
You can just tell, Shamanga is a guy that's only been playing basketball 3 years of his life. He's not a bad shooter, but his footwork's still very raw.
McVeigh for 3. Can't get that one to fall. Of a good feed from Glenn Watson. He was open, couldn't find it, or could not get it to fall. Coming the other way for Glenn Watson, or coming the other way for Gardner-Webb, LaQuincy Rideau. Now kicks it to Liam O'Reilly. Now looking on the block for DJ Laster, and that's stolen away. Now coming the other way for Nebraska is Ty Webster. Pulls up, finds Jack McVeigh, kicks it back out. Ty Webster. McVeigh will try another 3. That's no good either. Rebound to LaQuincy Rideau. McVeigh's been open all day on all of his 3 attempts, hasn't knocked any of them down.
0 for 3.
Hands it off to Liam O'Reilly. O'Reilly at the top of the key. Tries to work his way inside, finds DJ Laster, who shoots a 3, can't get that one to fall. Rebound to Anton Gill, coming the other way for the Huskers. Just over 2 minutes to go. Huskers lead 30-28.
These teams combined 4 of 16 from downtown. Gardner-Webb 3 of 8, Huskers 1 of 8.
Ty Webster with the basketball, working against Jamal Roboteau. Now tries to work his way inside, kicks it to Gill. Gill will try a 3. That won't go either. Rebound to LaQuincy Rideau again.
11% Nebraska from downtown in this game.
Rideau slows things down here. 1:43 to go, working against Ty Webster at the top of the key. Pass goes to Liam O'Reilly. O'Reilly working with Gill. Now finds Tyrell Nelson, who hands it off to LaQuincy Rideau, who tried to give it back to Tyrell Nelson, but it sails out of bounds, and it'll go back to Nebraska after a timeout on the floor. 1:31 to go here at Pinnacle Bank Arena in the first half. Nebraska clinging to a 2-point lead against Gardner-Webb. It's 30-28. You're listening to Nebraska basketball on 90.3 KRNU. Welcome back to Pinnacle Bank Arena. Husker basketball here on 90.3 KRNU. Zach Penrice alongside Tommy Rezac. And Tommy, we've got a battle going on. There's 1:31 to go in the first half. Nebraska clinging to a 2-point lead against the Gardner-Webb running Bulldogs coming out of Boiling Springs, North Carolina. They lead 30-28 over the running Bulldogs. And Tommy, we've seen a very sloppy first half here from both teams. 19 turnovers already in this game, and 12 points combined between both teams off of those 19 turnovers. So they haven't really capitalized, but it's still been a very sloppy basketball game to this point as Nebraska will get things started here once again. We've seen a 2-3 zone defensively from Gardner-Webb. We'll see if they keep that going as Ty Webster brings the basketball up the floor.
Neither team has been able to get on a roll. We've seen 5 lead changes this first half. Gardner-Webb, though, 4 of their last 5 baskets. Nebraska hasn't scored any points the last 2.5 minutes.
Michael Jacobson now looking on the low block, kicks it back out to Glenn Watson. Watson, as Gardner-Webb seems to be back in a man-to-man defense, now back on the block. Jacobson puts it up, can't get the roll against Patrick Zek. Rebound goes to Zek, and here comes Gardner-Webb. Coming the other way, Liam O'Reilly trying to pull up for a 3. He won't do it, and great hustle by Anton Gill trying to throw it off of Liam O'Reilly, but they're going to say it'll stay with the Bulldogs. Great hustle there by Anton Gill, but it'll stay with Gardner-Webb. Just under a minute to play here with 58 seconds to go.
And we look at that again on our Jumbotron. I think that's the right call because as Anton Gill was trying to steal it, it kind of bounced off Liam O'Reilly's chest, upper body, and then it hit Gill in the arm before going out of bounds. Tim Miles over there on the far side didn't like the call. Tough call to make, I understand, but yeah, I think that was the right one.
David Effiani with a wild shot inside. Can't get that one to fall, and that one will go out of bounds, and it'll stay with Gardner-Webb as both Webster and Anton Gill were fighting each other for the rebound. Same team, guys. But it'll stay with Gardner-Webb as it goes over toward Tim Miles on the Nebraska bench.
Yeah, another defensive miscue. 41 seconds on the game clock, 30 on the shot clock. Gardner-Webb gets a fresh 30 seconds, fresh possession to either tie or take the lead here. Crucial mistake by Nebraska.
David Effiani hands it back off to the point guard, LaQuincy Rideau, working against Glenn Watson. 16 on the shot clock, 25 seconds to go. Gets it to Tyrell Nelson, working on Jacobson inside. Nelson with a shot, and that one he will not get the roll. Shot clock turned off, rebounded Ed Morrow Jr., and the Huskers will slow it down. Ty Webster, 12 seconds to go. Nebraska will hold for the last shot here. Anton Gill Glenn Watson now, top of the key. 5 seconds to go. Watson inside, looking for Morrow. Off the backboard, can't find it. Now a full quarter by LaQuincy Rideau. It will not go. And the halftime score here at Pinnacle Bank Arena is Nebraska 30, Gardner-Webb 28. You're listening to Nebraska men's basketball on 90.3 KRNU.
University of Nebraska Cornhusker Sports is right here on 90.3 KRNU and streaming worldwide at krnu.unl.edu.
Back at PBA here, Zach Penrice alongside Tommy Rezac for the second half of Husker basketball. Jamal Roboteau inbounds it to LaQuincy Rideau to get things started here in the second half, and now it gets over to Liam O'Reilly, who looked in on the block. Now finds LaQuincy Rideau. Now finds Tyrell Nelson, works it inside, and a huge dunk by Lasan Nyangame, who we didn't see for a lot of that first half because he was out with 2 fouls, but he starts this half off with a slam, and it's 30-30. We're tied. 19 and a half minutes to go here in the game. Ty Webster coming the other way for Nebraska, now kicks it back out. Michael Jacobson finds Evan Taylor. Taylor trying to work his way inside, now finds Ed Morrow Jr. Kicks it back to Anton Gill. Now Michael Jacobson again to the left side. It's Ty Webster working against Jamal Roboteau. Gets it back to Ed Morrow. 5 on the shot clock here. Anton Gill works his way inside. Now Weaving dishes it off to Ed Morrow. Gets the ball stripped from him. The ball was stripped and then went out of bounds, but the shot clock went to 0, but I think they should add another second back onto the shot clock. The ball did not touch the rim, and it was stripped away.
Yeah, LaQuincy Rideau over there, number 3, the point guard, playing defense down low, and he thinks it should be Sanford basketball. And now I think they're going to go review this, Zach Penrice. Today's officials, Bo Borowski, Kelly Pfeiffer, and Glenn Mayborg, going to go to the scorer's table and look at this. But, yeah, you're right, 0 seconds on that shot clock. I liked the pass that Morrow got from Evan Taylor, but Morrow kind of mishandled the ball. It looked to me like it was a bat by a Gardner-Webb player, and it went out of bounds. But, yeah, ball did not touch the rim. There should be a tick or 2 left on that shot clock. But even if Nebraska gets the possession here, I mean, that's going to be really tough for Nebraska. The way they've been shooting today, playing offensively, it's going to be really tough for Nebraska to not get a shot clock violation, I think, despite whatever the officials come up with here.
It's going to be a catch-and-shoot situation if they were to get some time added back onto the shot clock here. And I think that you're right. I mean, it was definitely hit off of a Gardner-Webb defender. The ball did not touch the rim. Now the referees seem to have their decision. They'll explain it to each head coach. But I think the decision here should be to add a second or 2 back onto the shot clock. It stays Nebraska basketball. And they only have about a second or 2 to get a shot off here before the shot clock runs out. Now they're discussing with Tim Miles here what they're going to do. And it seems like they will keep it with Nebraska. See how much time they add back onto the shot clock here. 19:04 to go in the game here. 30-30. We're tied between Nebraska and Gardner-Webb. They haven't added any time back onto that shot clock yet. And now they give them a fresh 30. And they're going to probably have to subtract this down. It's got to be 1 or 2 seconds. I did not see the ball hit the rim there. I know you didn't either.
No one put up a shot. I mean, Morrow got the pass. Like I said, he dropped it. They put 2 seconds on. That's their decision.
So they add 2 seconds back on. Nebraska will be in about a catch-and-shoot situation here.
You talk about all the twists and turns in the first 20 minutes. They also add a second back to the game clock. So the first 55 seconds of the game, already a weird turn in this contest.
Evan Taylor will inbound it for Nebraska. Looking for any open man.
Better hurry up.
And it's stolen away on the inbounds by LaQuincy Rideau. Coming the other way for Gardner-Webb. Puts it up, and it's blocked by Jacobson. Rebound goes to Anton Gill. He's fouled by LaQuincy Rideau. Great hustle defensively by Michael Jacobson to get back. Blocked the shot by Rideau. And then Rideau gets a little bit of a frustration foul, 80 feet from the basket. And that's the first team foul for Gardner-Webb in this half. 18:58 to go here, and it stays 30-30. Nebraska and Evan Taylor with the basketball coming up the other way.
That had disaster written all over it for Nebraska. Rideau looked like he was going to go uncontested. Then Jacobson out of nowhere gets his 14th block of the year. That's a team high. Yeah, great defensive play by Jacobson. He hasn't shot well, but that was a great play on the other end.
Jacobson goes up for a shot and is fouled by Lasan Nyangane. That'll be Nyangane's 3rd foul of the game, and Jacobson will go to the line for 2 here. That's the second team foul on the Bulldogs this half. It's been a frustrating afternoon for Nyangane. been on the bench for the majority of this. He was on the bench for the majority of the first half in foul trouble, and now he gets an early foul here in the second half, and Jacobson's first free throw is up and good. So Nebraska gets a slim lead here once again, 31-30, 18:43 to go here at PBA.
Nebraska now 8 of 12 after starting 4 of 8 from the charity stripe. So as a team, they've made their last 4. So that is definitely one area where they've beaten Gardner-Webb. That's what Nebraska just has to do. I mean, you kind of have to accept that Gardner-Webb is going to play you close the majority of the way down the stretch. Just find ways, little ways like free throw shooting, you can separate yourself from this team and just get out of here with a win.
Jacobson's second free throw does not go. Rebound to Tyrell Nelson, who dishes it to LaQuincy Rideau, who brings it back up. Now finds Nelson once again. Now Liam O'Reilly dishes it to Brandon Miller. Now a three on the way by Jamal Roboto, and he knocks it down. It's a 2-point lead for Gardner-Webb, 33-31, 18:20 to go here in the game.
Roboto's first points. He's the 8th Bulldog to score.
Jacobson will try a three on the other end. That won't go. Rebound goes out of bounds. It'll stay with the Huskers. It was Ed Morrow Jr. fighting for the rebound with LaQuincy Rideau, who seems to be everywhere for the Bulldogs. And that will go out of bounds. It'll stay with Nebraska with a fresh 30 seconds on the shot clock. 18:14 to go in the game.
I don't understand Jacobson taking that shot from the top of the key. Michael Jacobson this year with that miss, 3 of 18 from beyond the arc.
Ty Webster loses the ball on the end line against LaQuincy Rideau, who steals it, now dishes it outside to Jamal Roboto, finds Liam O'Reilly. Now trying to work inside to Tyrell Nelson, but he travels, and it'll go back to Nebraska. That's the 11th turnover for Gardner-Webb.
That's about the 4th stoppage of play we've had in the first $1:58 of this second half.
Evan Taylor will bring it back up for the Huskers. Finds Anton Gill. Top of the key, Ed Morrow. Morrow stands with it. Now hands it off to Ty Webster. Working against Brandon Miller. Now finds Michael Jacobson. Jacobson on the block. Back outside to Webster. Webster working off a screen from Jacobson. Now dishes it back to Jacobson. Nice give and go and a foul. And it will not go. They're going to hit it with a charge. Brandon Miller stands in and takes the charge against Michael Jacobson. He was close to that archway, Tommy Rezac.
Going to get another look at this. Oh, I think
just outside. Yep. That's a good call.
Yep, had his feet set. That is a spectacular play by Miller, let me tell you. And I liked the screen that Jacobson set, and it was good ball movement by Webster, but Miller was ready for it. That they're playing that zone defense. Nebraska's offense can't draw anything up to get the Bulldogs off balance on defense. I mean, Gardner-Webb has been ready for everything.
LaQuincy Rideau's jumper is good over Evan Taylor. Gardner-Webb's up by 4, 35-31. Bulldogs, 17:20 to go in the game. Evan Taylor coming the other way for Nebraska.
Their biggest lead.
Now Ty Webster kicks it to Ed Morrow, trying to work inside. He goes up out and one. They'll count it. Ed Morrow working against Brandon Miller and gets right by him. And they're going to get Miller with the foul. Miller, who just took the charge on the last possession, goes up. I'm not sure about that one. Arms were up, but they're going to get a lot of body on that foul. See, Miller's still pleading with the referees.
I thought maybe Morrow traveled there, too. I mean, it almost looked like he took an extra step on that crossover dribble, but big break for the Huskers nonetheless.
Definitely controversial as Morrow knocks down the free throw, and it's a 1-point lead for Gardner-Webb, 35-34. Glenn Watson Jr. checks back in for the Huskers. He's in for Evan Taylor.
8 points, 11 boards for Morrow. It would be his first career double-double if he can get 2 more points.
Jamal Roboto kicks it down low. Tyrell Nelson working against Jacobson. Puts it up, can't get the roll to fall. Rebound, Ed Morrow. And the distribution to Glenn Watson almost went out of bounds over by the Gardner-Webb bench, but he stays with it. Glenn Watson works up the floor now. He'll pull up for a jumper. That goes down. Over Brandon Miller. Glenn Watson comes back in, gives Nebraska the lead in this first 30 seconds of being in the game. 36-35, Huskers on top.
7th lead change of the game. What did we say? Glenn Watson touching the ball in this game, and he's done well with it.
Brandon Miller goes up and in off a nifty pass from LaQuincy Rideau. Behind the back to Brandon Miller, takes it inside and scores. It's a back-and-forth contest here. Gardner-Webb back on top, and now Ty Webster working the other way. And they're going to and he stepped on the end line, and it's going back to Gardner-Webb. Could have been a foul there on the other end, but Ty Webster trying to work against 2 different Bulldog defenders, and they drive him out of bounds. So they'll go back to Gardner-Webb, who leads 37-36, 16-18 to go here in the game.
I wanted to correct myself. Ed Morrow, if he gets a couple more points, that'd be his 3rd career double-double. He had 10 and 12 against Clemson and 19-10 against Dayton. But still, that'd be a pretty big accomplishment for Morrow.
Tyrell Nelson with the jumper. Knocks it down.
My goodness. Nelson, 11 points. He's the first. That's a game high now for Nelson, the first Bulldog in double figures. And Gardner-Webb with their second largest lead now.
Jacobson with the basketball, dishes it to Jack McVeigh. McVeigh working against Liam O'Reilly, kicks it to Glenn Watson, now finds Ty Webster. Webster trying to find his way inside, now to the right side, Jacobson, now deeper to the right side in the corner for McVeigh, dribbles it back outside, and now McVeigh is fouled. They're going to get Liam O'Reilly with the foul. That'll be O'Reilly's second foul, the team's fourth. And we're going to hit our first media timeout of the second half. 15:40 to go. Nebraska trails Gardner-Webb 39-36. You're listening to Nebraska men's basketball on 90.3 KRNU. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Pinnacle Bank Arena. Zach Penrice alongside Tommy Rezac. 15:40 to go here in the game. And Tommy, nobody expected this. Gardner-Webb is leading Nebraska 39-36. And there's only about 15 and a half minutes to go in this game. But hats off to Gardner-Webb for staying in this game, especially. It's been a terrific performance from Nelson for Gardner-Webb, who's been leading the way for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Tyrell Nelson, that senior leader, like we've talked about. He's their third best scorer, averaging 12 and a half points a game. And yeah, he's right on schedule with those 11 points, as we mentioned. Both teams shooting okay coming out of the gate. Gardner-Webb, 5 of their first 7. Nebraska, 2 of their first 3. But the big difference is Nebraska's turned it over 4 times here in the first 3.5 minutes. Gardner-Webb only 1 turnover since the intermission, and therefore they have outscored Nebraska 11-6 here in this half.
Glenn Watson with the basketball, gives it to Ty Webster, now to Michael Jacobson, now back to Glenn Watson. Now top of the key, Webster almost lost it. Now gives it to Jack McVeigh, working off a screen from Morrow. Finds Glenn Watson, who pulls up for a jumper on the right side. It's no good. Rebound to Ed Morrow. Offensive board, tries to go up with it. And they're going to call a foul on the floor. They're going to get LaQuincy Rideau with a foul on the floor against Ed Morrow Jr. That's Rideau's third foul of the afternoon, and that'll be the Bulldogs' 5th team foul in the second half. So 5 fouls already for Gardner-Webb, only 1 for Nebraska. That should loom large here down the stretch.
Yeah, that's a big stat, and Rideau did not like the call. He thought Morrow traveled, but he will take a seat, and Christian Turner comes in his place.
Michael Jacobson on the block, hands it off to Ty Webster. Webster outside, McVeigh for 3 again. Hits it this time. Jack McVeigh 0 for 3 from 3 before that shot. He knocks that one down. He's on the score sheet for the first time today. We're tied at 39 with 15 minutes to go in the game.
Most clutch shot for Nebraska in this game. Jack McVeigh, no points in 7 minutes against KU. That is absolutely clutch. His first 3 since going 1 of 5 against Creighton.
Tyrell Nelson working against Jacobson on the block. Can't get that shot to fall. Rebound to Ed Morrow. Morrow is eating down low today. That's 14 rebounds for him.
Career high.
Hand off to Glenn Watson. Watson now working on the inside, working against David Effiani. Outside McVeigh. He'll try it again. Can't get that one to fall. Rebound for Jacobson. It'll go off of his foot and out of bounds. Back to Gardner-Webb it goes. Working against Tyrell Nelson on the rebound there.
You know, typically I would critique a shot like that by McVeigh, but not at all. He was wide open. He was feeling confident. He had a good look. Just rimmed out a little bit, but tough offensive miscue there by Jacobson. It was tough to make the rebound as it was. You credit him for chasing after the ball, but it's a turnover nonetheless.
Effiani tries to work his way inside, can't get the shot to fall. Rebound goes to Tyrell Nelson. Back to Effiani, goes up for a shot, and he's fouled on the way up. So great hustle by Effiani and Tyrell Nelson. They're going to get Glenn Watson with the foul there. That's his second foul, I believe. It is, and that's the second team foul on Nebraska of the second half. And in a tie ball game here, David Effiani heads to the free throw line for Gardner-Webb, and his first shot rattles out, off the backboard, and in. Very unorthodox free throw right there, but it goes in anyway. So Gardner-Webb has the lead here, 40-39, and his second free throw rims out. Rebound to Ed Morrow. Guess who? What else is new?
15 rebounds.
Here comes Ty Webster the other way, finds Jack McVeigh on the left corner. Now inside, Ty Webster working on the low block against Roboto. Webster goes up, can't get the roll, gets his own rebound. Now dishes it to Jacobson, goes up and 1 on the dunk. Michael Jacobson gets the and 1 on the dunk off a great feed from Ty Webster, and Nebraska goes back on top. Great poise, great body control inside by Michael Jacobson to put that one up and in.
What a beautiful ball fake after we saw him struggle on that last possession on the baseline. Got the rebound, set his feet, pump faked, and then jammed it on the side of the rim, but can't get the free throw.
Cannot complete the three-point play. Rebound to Roboto. And here come the Bulldogs. And Christian Turner hands it off to Tyrell Nelson. Now gives it off to his other man, Effiani, who dribbles all the way to the rack. Can't get that one to fall. Rebound to Ty Webster, running the other way for Nebraska. Webster will try to go all the way to the rack. Gets his pocket picked. Coming the other way for Gardner-Webb quickly. Can't get that one to fall, Effiani, but the follow by Tyrell Nelson is put in. Gardner-Webb back on top.
10th lead change of the game.
Webster coming the other way, working against Christian Turner. Kicks it up to the top of the key. Glenn Watson slows things down here. 13-15 to go. Bulldogs lead 42-41. Webster with a great spin move. Oh, what a move by Glenn Watson. Puts it up and in against Jamal Roboto. And Glenn Watson puts it in to give Nebraska the lead back. What a move by Glenn Watson. But now Christian Turner the other way. Kicks it out to Tyrell Nelson. Tries a shot. Banks it in. And it's a three ball by Tyrell Nelson. 2-point lead for Gardner-Webb. Back and forth we go. Tommy Rezac as the Huskers come back up the floor. Glenn Watson with it.
Gardner-Webb all of a sudden 5 of 10 from downtown, and that's the 12th lead change.
Kicks it out to Jacobson. Jacobson pulls up. Now kicks it back outside. Watson working inside. Finds Ed Morrow. And he's going to be pushed by Patrick Zeck, and they'll get him with a foul. It'll be Zeck's 3rd personal foul and the team's 7th. And guess what? We're already in the bonus. 12:34 to go in the second half. 45-43, Bulldogs lead the Huskers, but the rest of the way, the Huskers are going to be shooting free throws.
Talking about Ed Morrow's 15 rebounds, the last time a player had 15 or more was Alex Marich against Colorado on March 9th of 2008. Are you kidding me? That's awesome.
Long, long time ago now. As Ed Morrow,
the Austrian,
the first of his 1-and-1. Is no good. And the rebound goes to David Effiani for Gardner-Webb. Coming up the right side, working against Anton Gill, who just checked in. Effiani tries to go inside, kicks it back out. DJ Laster for 3. Can't get that one to go. Rebound to Tyrell Nelson. Actually, that's Lasan Nyangane. He can't get the follow, but he gets fouled. And they're going to get Ed Morrow Jr. with the foul. That's Morrow's 2nd personal foul, the team's 3rd of this half. And Nyangane, the Frenchman for Gardner-Webb, has a chance to put Gardner-Webb up by 4. His first free throw is good.
He's quietly had a decent game now. 5 points and 3 rebounds, is it? Yeah. So in only 4 minutes. So he's played well. He's had a couple of dunks in this game, and if he can sink the next free throw, that would tie Gardner-Webb's biggest lead.
His second free throw is good. He spent most of the afternoon in foul trouble, but he's on the floor now, and he just gave Gardner-Webb a 4-point lead. 47-43, Bulldogs on top.
Nyangane comes into this game with the lowest free throw percentage on that team, 6 of 14. That's only 43%, so big couple of makes there for the Frenchman.
A whistle on the other end. They're going to get Christian Turner with a foul. That's his 2nd personal, the team's 8th, and free throws coming again for Glenn Watson Jr., who was fouled by Christian Turner. So 1-and-1 coming here for Nebraska. 12-11 to go. Bulldogs lead 47-43. The first free throw is good. Glenn Watson generally pretty good from the charity stripe this season.
I said Glenn's last double-digit effort came against Virginia Tech. That also incorrect. Against South Dakota on December 3rd. So it's still been over 2 weeks since Watson has scored 10 or more. But he's the 2nd Husker in double figures now.
And that'll be Watson's 11th point as he knocks down the 2nd of 2 free throws. So he takes advantage of the Huskers being in the bonus and knocks down both free throws on 1-and-1 attempts. Here comes Christian Turner the other way. Now kicks it into the corner for David Effiani. Effiani working inside. And now whistles stop play, and they're going to get Anton Gill with a foul away from the ball. And that's going to be Nebraska's 4th team foul, and that's Gill's first personal foul of the afternoon. Bulldogs lead 47-45, and now the inbounds coming. Throws it in deep to Liam O'Reilly, who's working against Jack McVeigh, working off a screen from Nyangane. Now back to the right side to Christian Turner. Turner finds DJ Lester working inside.
It's another reach on Gill. Oh, no.
They're going to get Isaiah Roby, the freshman, with a reach there against DJ Laster, and that'll go out of bounds. It'll stay with Gardner-Webb after a foul. That's the 5th team foul as we've hit another media timeout. 11:50 to go here in the game. Bulldogs lead the Huskers 47-45. You're listening to Nebraska men's basketball on 90.3 KRNU.
You're listening to Nebraska Cornhusker basketball on 90.3 KRNU and online at krnu.unl.edu.
Welcome back to Pinnacle Bank Arena, 90.3 KRNU and Nebraska men's basketball here. Zach Penrice alongside Tommy Rezac. And Tommy, we've got a doozy. It's 47-45. Gardner-Webb on top of Nebraska here with 11:50 to go in the game. Gardner-Webb basketball down on the other end from us in front of the Gardner-Webb bench, where Gardner-Webb is playing on offense in the second half here. And not many people expected the Bulldogs to be on top this late in the game.
Yeah, not much has really changed, Zach, since the last time we stopped play. I mean, both teams still shooting pretty well. Nebraska 5 of 9 this half. We saw that beautiful drive by Glenn Watson with the spin move, the razzle-dazzle from him. But Gardner-Webb, not only are they playing almost as good offensively, Gardner-Webb has sunk 7 of their 14 shots here in the second half, but turnovers. 6 of them this half by Nebraska, just 1 by Gardner-Webb. Now, fouls, that is something that has worked in Nebraska's favor. It's 8-5 in favor of the Huskers.
3 ball on the way by Liam O'Reilly. That won't go.
And we got another foul.
And they're going to get Jacobson with a push, working against Lasan Nyangane. And that'll be the 6th team foul on Nebraska. And that's Jacobson's 3rd personal foul of the afternoon. 11:42 to go here, still a 2-point lead.
Well, you look at how big of a difference those turnovers have made. Gardner-Webb has scored 14 points off turnovers, Nebraska only 5. Gardner-Webb also 11 steals in this game.
Christian Turner working inside to Tyrell Nelson, going against Jacobson. Outside 3 ball on the way, no good. Rebound goes to Glenn Watson Jr., who will slow it down for Nebraska coming the other way. Under 11.5 minutes to go here in the game. 2-point deficit for the Huskers. On the right side, Jack McVeigh working off a screen from Jacobson. McVeigh to the left side now, Watson. Huskers working right to the left here. Now Watson kicks it out for Isaiah Roby. Works it inside, looking for Jacobson, and it's stolen away. Here come the Bulldogs the other way. All the way to the rack goes David Effiani and scores over Jacobson. It's a 4-point lead for the Bulldogs. Under 11 to go here. 49-45. Gardner-Webb on top.
Effiani's 2nd steal of the day. Gardner-Webb has now tripled Nebraska's number of steals, 12-4.
Jacobson on the low block, puts it up, can't get that one to fall. Rebound by Isaiah Roby, puts it up and in. Good rebound and put back by Isaiah Roby after the miss from Michael Jacobson. And it's a 2-point game now once again. Great job by Roby as Gardner-Webb now the other way. Christian Turner finds Tyrell Nelson.
6 points, 3 boards for the freshman Roby.
We're trying to work inside from David Effiani, looking toward Tyrell Nelson, but he throws that one away. It's tipped off of Jacobson, and it'll stay with Gardner-Webb as Anton Gill and Michael Jacobson check out. And Ty Webster and Ed Morrow will check back in for Nebraska. Christian Turner throwing it in. He finds Liam O'Reilly. O'Reilly gets a screen. Now O'Reilly losing control of the basketball, hands it off. Now kick it back out for Tyrell Nelson. Thinking about a 3, won't do it. 2 on the shot clock here, has to get rid of it. Nelson goes up, goes in at the buzzer on the shot clock, and he scores it. 51-47. Tyrell Nelson with a great play working against Ed Morrow there. 10 minutes to go in the game, a 4-point lead for Gardner-Webb. Now it's Ty Webster to Isaiah Roby.
Nelson nearing a season high. His season high is 19. He currently has 18.
Glenn Watson Jr. at the top. Now hands it off to McVeigh. McVeigh gives it to Webster. Webster all the way to the rack up. Can't get that one to fall. Rebound to Morrow. Goes up with it, puts it in, but they're going to call a foul on the floor. They're going to get, I think, David Effiani. And they do get Effiani with a foul. That's his first personal foul. That's the 9th team foul on the Bulldogs with 9:45 to go. Already the 9th team foul. And so Nebraska's still in the bonus. It'll be 1-1 here for Ed Morrow, who hasn't been great from the free throw line today, just 4 of 7. Nebraska's a team 61% from the line today. Ed Morrow's first free throw rattles around and down. So Ed Morrow makes it a 1-possession game here, 51-48. Bulldogs still on top of Nebraska. Ed Morrow
Now 5 of 8 from the charity stripe he is. 4 more rebounds for Ed Morrow. He would be the first since Kimani Friend, who had 21 boards against Oral Roberts in December of 1999.
Isaiah Roby going for a rebound off the miss from Morrow, and they're going to hit him with a foul. And so, well, everyone will make the long walk to the other end, and we'll shoot free throws down there. As Gardner-Webb works into the bonus now, and they're going to get Roby with the foul, and shooting the free throws here for Gardner-Webb will be Tyrell Nelson, who today is 1 of 2 from the line. As a team, Gardner-Webb is 50%. They're 6-12. Nelson's first free throw is no good. Rebound goes to Ty Webster. 51-48, Nebraska trails here. 9:37 to go in the game. Glenn Watson to the right side. McVeigh working against Liam O'Reilly into the corner. Finds Roby. Roby hands it off to Webster. Roby and Webster look very alike out there. Roby like a younger Webster. Kicks it out to McVeigh, who drives all the way inside. Kicks it out. Passed up a 3 by Roby. Kicks it back out. Webster will try a 3. He won't get that one to fall. Rebound goes to LaQuincy Rideau. Here come the Bulldogs the other way into the corner. David Effiani works up, puts it up. Can't get that one to fall, but he's fouled on the way up by McVeigh. They don't like the call down there, but no appeal from the Husker bench. They're going to get McVeigh with that foul. That's his first personal 18th foul of the second half. 9:07 to go in the game. Bulldogs up 51-48, and Effiani goes to the line for 2. The first one rattles home.
Yeah, you talk about the fouls. I mean, this half started, Gardner-Webb had 5 fouls, Nebraska 1, but it's nearly drawn even. It's still 9-8 in favor of Nebraska, but now fouls starting to haunt Nebraska a little bit.
Effiani's second free throw is good, and definitely, yeah, the fouls for both teams, definitely something to keep an eye on. 9 team fouls for Gardner-Webb and 8 for Nebraska.
And I want to go back to that last possession. Really, I think a missed opportunity, as Tim Miles calls a 30-second time. This will be a full timeout. But just to finish what I was saying, the last offensive possession by Nebraska, missed opportunity. Webster kicked it to Roby, who was open on the left side. That's a shot Roby should take, but freshman mistake. He kicked it back out to Webster with 5 seconds to shoot. Webster had defense in his face. Tried a shot. It wasn't bad, but I mean, it was a missed opportunity, no points, and then Gardner-Webb goes down the other way, gets 2 free throws, and now they have their biggest lead of the game.
9:02 to go here in the game as Nebraska trails Gardner-Webb 53-48. We'll take a quick break here on KRNU. You're listening to Nebraska men's basketball on 90.3 KRNU. Welcome back to Pinnacle Bank Arena. Husker men's basketball here on 90.3 KRNU. Zach Penrice alongside Tommy Rezac as Nebraska trails Gardner-Webb out of the Big South Conference 53-48. Gardner-Webb coming into this game with a record of 6-5. Tim Kraft, their head coach in his 4th season, has led the Bulldogs to a 61-51 record in those 4 years. And he's upset 2 Big Ten teams in his time there. Or excuse me, just the one. Purdue 2 years ago beat the Boilermakers on the road in West Lafayette just 2 years ago. Wow. He's got another Big Ten team on the ropes right here. 53-48, his team is up. And Tommy Rezac, pretty shocking what we've seen to this point. Nebraska just seemingly can't score the basketball at this point.
Well, yeah, not only that, it just seems they just can't get on a run. I mean, Gardner-Webb has made their fair share of mistakes. I mean, they've missed free throws. They've turned the ball over. And Nebraska's had plenty of opportunities to get back in this game, take a lead, and at least separate themselves a little bit. But, yeah, just sloppy play, really. I mean, across the board now. Nebraska now shooting 6 of 13 this half. Gardner-Webb 9 of 18. And guess what? 7 turnovers this half. That turnover number just keeps on growing. So, yeah, and the zone defense. Again, Gardner-Webb comes out in the 2-3 zone. It's uncanny how Nebraska just struggles week after week, no matter who they're playing, really break that zone defense.
Ed Morrow now with the basketball, gives it off to Ty Webster. Webster kicks it into the corner. Roby for 3. He can't get that one. Rebound goes to Tyrell Nelson for Gardner-Webb, and slowing it down, bringing up the floor is LaQuincy Rideau.
The three-point shooting, that's another thing. Nebraska now 2 of 14, Gardner-Webb 5 of 13. So 3 more triples Gardner-Webb has knocked down than Nebraska.
David Effiani hands the ball off to LaQuincy Rideau. 15 on the shot clock here for Gardner-Webb. 8:25 to go in the game. Hands on the low block. Tyrell Nelson in trouble. Double team, has to get rid of it, and he distributes it down low. Now with the basketball, kicks it back out. Nelson again, he thinks about a shot. Now he'll drive on Morrow, puts it up, can't get that one to fall. Didn't get any rim. And coming the other way for Nebraska is Glenn Watson Jr. on the right side, working against LaQuincy Rideau. Now Watson dribbles it into the corner. He'll pull up for a jumper. Can't get that one to fall. And the rebound kicks into the corner, out of bounds. It'll stay with Nebraska as the ball goes off of Lasan Nyangane, the Frenchman, for Gardner-Webb, and that one. And so no action here in the last minute as it stays the same score, 53-48. We've hit another media timeout, 7:59 to go in the game. Nebraska trails Gardner-Webb by 5, 53-48. You're listening to Nebraska men's basketball on 90.3 KRNU.
You're listening to Nebraska Cornhusker basketball on 90.3 KRNU and online at krnu.unl.edu.
Welcome back to National Bank Arena, Husker basketball here on 90.3 KRNU. Zach Penrice alongside Tommy Rezac here, and Tommy, Gardner-Webb leads Nebraska 53-48. And you can pretty much sum up Gardner-Webb in 2 words: Tyrell Nelson. 18 points, 6 rebounds, and 1 assist to go along with that. He's having an outstanding game for the Bulldogs thus far as he still stays out there on the floor. He should be out there for pretty much the remainder of this game. Only has 2 personal fouls in a game that has been filled with fouls. 19 fouls for the Bulldogs currently, 8 for the Huskers. So both teams in the bonus for the last 8 minutes or so of this contest. And the ball here will start with Nebraska, and inbounds coming from Ty Webster finds Michael Jacobson to get things started here, and hands it out to Glenn Watson Jr. He'll get the offense rolling here for Nebraska. Finds Evan Taylor on the left side. First time we've seen him in a while. Back to Glenn Watson, top of the key. Watson works his way inside an open lane. Off the glass, can't get that one to fall. Rebound for Ed Morrow, gets that one stolen away. Here comes David Effiani the other way, working up in foul, and can't get that one to fall. He was going up against, I think it was it was Ty Webster. Ty Webster playing defense there on the other end. David Effiani goes right into him and draws a foul. Can't get the shot to go down, but he heads to the line for 2.
Not the most crucial foul for Nebraska because that only is Webster's first personal, but Nebraska hasn't held a lead in this game as that first free throw goes in, and Gardner-Webb, that's their biggest lead at 6 points. But Nebraska has not held a lead since the 13:09 mark, and now there's 7:40 left to play. So Nebraska hasn't led for 6 minutes, and now they're down 3 scores with the 2 made free throws.
Effiani knocks down the second, and now the fans trying to get some encouragement going for Nebraska as their team is down by 7 to Gardner-Webb. Inside goes to Evan Taylor. Taylor gets the roll off the glass and in. 55-50. Nebraska trying to claw their way back in, and Glenn Watson pokes the ball away from LaQuincy Rideau. It'll stay with Gardner-Webb. Some light pressure from Glenn Watson alone, and now a few more Huskers will come up and help press. 7:23 to go in the game. Both teams with 9 team fouls. Both teams in the bonus. 55-50 Huskers trail. LaQuincy Rideau coming up the floor slowly, working against Glenn Watson Jr., gives it off to Tyrell Nelson, who hands it to Liam O'Reilly, now gives it to David Effiani, back to the point guard. LaQuincy Rideau finds it inside, looking for Effiani, can't get the shot to go down. Here comes Nebraska coming quickly in transition. Ty Webster goes all the way to the rack and cannot get the roll. Great rebound by Jacobson, kicks it out to Glenn Watson, and that has his pass tipped away to Evan Taylor, who still stays with it. Taylor now working his way inside. Goes up, can't get the shot to go down. Fans want a foul. Bench wants a foul. They won't get one. Gardner-Webb coming the other way quickly.
Rush shot by Taylor, not a good decision.
Effiani up and in. Off the roll, going baseline against Glenn Watson. Gets his shot to go down. It's a 7-point lead for Gardner-Webb. 57-50, 6.5 to go. Ty Webster going baseline. He's fouled by David Effiani, who's pleading with the referees for a foul call. They're going to get Effiani with a foul. That's the 10th team foul. Nebraska in the double bonus the rest of the way.
Yeah, that's a big break. That's the 4th personal foul on Nyangane, who's only played 8 minutes in the game, but he's probably done for the day. Big break now for Nebraska. They're the first team in the double bonus, but then again, if the Huskers foul one more time, the running Bulldogs are in the double bonus. But big opportunity here for Webster, who's a good free throw shooter, one of the best on this team. It's imperative he makes at least one of these, make it just 2-score game.
Knocks down the first, does Webster. He was 1 of 2 from the line going into that shot. Now he's 2 of 3. Nebraska 62% from the line today. They've taken 21 free throws. They've knocked down 13 of them.
Ooh, 62%. That's a season low if that holds up.
Webster's second free throw is no good, but the rebound scramble goes to Nebraska. Evan Taylor stays with it, now throws it away. Liam O'Reilly coming the other way, dishes it off to Rideau. He's fouled on the way up, can't get the shot to go down, but Ed Morrow fouls him on the way up, and Rideau is going to go to the line for 2 shots. He's taken quite a few free throws today. He's taken 6 free throws, has only knocked down 2. But they get Morrow, and now just like that, the Bulldogs are in the double bonus, and Rideau will go to the line for 2 shots.
8,100 fans on hand here today, Zach Penrice, and just a few of the aisles. People starting to trickle out now as that free throw is good. So if they make one more, the bleed would be 8, and that'd be the biggest. Seems to me, Zach, Nebraska's just playing frantic. They're playing scared, and for reasons unknown. I mean, they've been in this game the whole time. Yeah, Gardner-Webb's played tighter, but Nebraska, this second half, you said it, they can't score the basketball, and it just shows their play, especially on offense, very frantic.
The second free throw was no good, and the rebound was to guess who? Ed Morrow. That's number 17 for him on rebounds today. Glenn Watson at the top of the key working against LaQuincy Rideau. Gardner-Webb back in a zone here against Nebraska in a 2-3 zone. Anton Gill to the right side, Watson. Watson down low to Webster. 7 on the shot clock. Webster trying to work against DJ Laster. Dishes it inside. Great give and go with Jacobson. Puts it up, puts it in with 1 on the shot clock. A great give and go between Webster and Jacobson, and Webster gets the shot to fall. It's a 5-point game now. Bulldogs on top 58-53. The crowd trying to get into it just a little bit here as Rideau dishes it to Tyrell Nelson. Nelson to the right side. Finds David Effiani, now back to the left side. Liam O'Reilly working against Anton Gill. Dishes it back, and now all the way to the rack goes LaQuincy Rideau, but he stepped on the end line. Out of bounds. And that'll go back to Nebraska. Actually, they're going to get him with a foul.
Yeah.
To get him with a foul is a charging call as he lowered his shoulder on a drive with Glenn Watson Jr. And so they'll get him with a foul. That's Rideau's 4th. That's big. And Rideau checks out of the game. Yes. Coming back in is Christian Turner, the backup point guard for Gardner-Webb. 58-53, Huskers with the basketball. 5:27 to go in the game.
7 points, 5 boards for Rideau. He's played 25 minutes. That's the second most minutes of anybody on that Gardner-Webb team. So, yeah, huge foul right there.
Glenn Watson on the low block. Now dishes it low to Jacobson. Jacobson goes up and under and in. Gets the one to roll around. Working against Brandon Miller. Nebraska's right back in it. It's a 1-possession game. 58-55, 5 minutes to go.
Suddenly this crowd remembers the life. What gutsy play by Jacobson with that assist to Webster on the previous possession, and then the beautiful finish at the rim on that last score.
Tyrell Nelson puts it up, puts it in over Jacobson and Webster. Tyrell Nelson, impossible to stop. He's got 20. He's 9 of 15 from the field today.
Season high for him. That's unbelievable answer right there.
Coming the other way is Ty Webster with 20 on the shot clock. 4:40 to go in the game.
The crowd sits right back down.
Webster into the corner for Watson. Watson, great dish down to Jacobson, and is blocked by Tyrell Nelson. As if we could call that name more times today, Nelson flies in with a block.
Oh my, Zach, that was beautiful. My goodness, what a block. That was his 6th of the year. I thought Jacobson had the layup, but out of nowhere from behind, all ball. Beautiful.
3 on the way by Liam O'Reilly. No good. Rebound falls into the hands of Michael Jacobson, but he steps out of bounds on the rebound. Gardner-Webb's going to keep the basketball. They have a 5-point lead with 4:09 to go. Jacobson checks out, and McVeigh checks back in here. Fresh 30 on the shot clock for Gardner-Webb.
And partially, you do feel for Jacobson because he's really been playing hard this second half. He's been trying to make things happen, trying to get a defensive board for Nebraska, but instead gives the Bulldogs a fresh 30 to shoot.
Jamal Robitou dishes it to Tyrell Nelson, pulls up for a jumper, and pure. Tyrell Nelson. Who else?
Unconscious, Zach Penrice.
22 points for Gardner-Webb. He's leading the way.
Under 4 minutes to go, Nebraska down 7. You can almost feel the sweat starting to drip down in this building.
Webster's floater is no good. Rebound to Christian Turner. The air is leaving the building. 3.5 minutes to go. 62-55. Gardner-Webb leads it. Turner finds Tyrell Nelson. Now dishes it to the right side. It's Jamal Robitou. Now back to the top of the key. The point guard, Christian Turner, working against Watson. Gets a screen from Tyrell Nelson. Now puts up the shot. Can't get that one to fall. Rebound to Webster. Huskers need a basket. 3:15 to go. Here comes Webster. Webster now to the right side. Finds McVeigh outside Watson. He'll try a 3. He hits it. Glenn Watson Jr. with a huge 3. That's just Nebraska's 3rd of the afternoon. It's a 4-point game under 3 minutes to go. 62-58. Gardner-Webb on top. Here comes Christian Turner. And he calls timeout. That'll be a 30-second timeout by Gardner-Webb. But we'll take a timeout with him. 2:51 to go in the game. Bulldogs on top of the Huskers, 62-58. You're listening to Nebraska men's basketball on 90.3 KRNU. Welcome back to Pinnacle Bank Arena. Husker men's basketball here on 90.3 KRNU. Zach Penrice alongside Tommy Rezac. 2:51 to go. It's going to be a good finish. Bulldogs lead the Huskers 62-58, leading the way for Gardner-Webb. Tyrell Nelson, 22 points on 10 of 16 shooting. He's got 6 rebounds to go along with that. And on the other side, Ty Webster for Nebraska has 13 points, but Glenn Watson Jr. coming off the bench today has 14 points of his own. And also very impressive for Nebraska, Ed Morrow Jr. has 9 points, but 17 rebounds. First time a Huskers grabbed that many rebounds in quite some time. I think about 8 years.
8 years. Alex March against Colorado in March of 2008, back at the Bob. But
been a long time.
But it's also been a long time since Nebraska's played a Big South school. They beat Presbyterian 9 years ago. Historically 4-0 against foes from this conference, but it's 2:45 away from that streak coming to an end.
LaQuincy Rideau with the basketball for Gardner-Webb, looking on the low block, can't find anybody. Now gives it to Brandon Miller, working against McVeigh, hands it off to David Effiani, puts it up and can't get the roll, but the rebound goes on the floor, and it's going to be a jump ball here. And the ball is going to go back to Nebraska on the jump ball on the alternate possession. And as you see on that possession there, Tommy, LaQuincy Rideau checks back in with 4 fouls for Gardner-Webb, and the ball will go back to Nebraska here with 2:29 to go. Nebraska cannot afford empty trips at this point.
Yeah, it looked to me that Brandon Miller almost had that ball secured. I'm a little bit surprised by that call, actually. I'm not saying it was wrong, but I thought from up here it looked like Gardner-Webb had control, but nevertheless Nebraska gets it back, and that is the 12th. That's only the second Gardner-Webb turnover of this half, and it comes at a crucial moment.
Gardner-Webb did have 2 timeouts. They didn't use any of them there. Ty Webster working his way inside and gets tripped up, and a foul will be called against David Effiani. So Webster will go shoot 2. And then this is a perfect scenario if you're Tim Miles and if you're Nebraska, getting a chance to score with the clock stopped when you're behind by 4 points. Ty Webster can make this a 2-point game if he knocks down both of these free throws.
He's 2 of 4 today, and on the season, Webster 78%, third best percentage on the team.
And knocks down the first one. Ty Webster trying to give Nebraska a little bit of an edge, who Nebraska's shooting horribly from the line today, 61%, 14 of 23 from the line thus far, but these free throws down the stretch will be big. Webster's second free throw is good as well. Knocks down both of them. They needed that. 62-60. Gardner-Webb with the lead. Light pressure from Glenn Watson against LaQuincy Rideau, who breaks the easy press.
So quiet you could hear Webster's heart rate during those last shots. But yeah, 2-point game. Let's see what happens.
Quincy Rideau working against Glenn Watson. 15 on the shot clock to the left side. Goes Effiani. Now back to Tyrell Nelson. Gives it to LaQuincy Rideau. Rideau back to Nelson. Nelson working inside. Goes up over 2 Nebraska defenders. The shot is blocked, and the rebound comes down to Ty Webster. Webster trying to go coast to coast. He tries, won't get it to go. But the ball goes down and off of a Gardner-Webb defender. That's going to go off of Effiani, and it'll stay with Nebraska. Webster trying to do it all himself there against 3 different Bulldog defenders.
And again, I love the steal by Webster, and you got to like the hustle in the transition game. I mean, we've seen that all year by him. It's been solid. But again, I go back to the word frantic. I mean, if I'm Ty Webster there, your team's down 2. You slow it down, you set it up, you draw up a play. I mean, you appreciate the senior leader trying to do it all himself, but a little bit frantic, but Nebraska fortunate to get the ball back.
McVeigh into the corner, dishes it off to Jacobson at the end, but the ball is stripped away by Rideau. Here comes Gardner-Webb the other way. Rideau will pull it back out, and now Rideau works his way inside. Great dish, and the shot is blocked by Miller, but they're going to get him with a foul. I think they're going to get Webster, and a great dish.
Holy cow.
By Effiani to Brandon Miller. They're going to get Glenn Watson Jr. on the foul. I'm not sure if it was Watson or Jacobson who actually fouled him.
Oh, wait, no. They said Jacobson at first. Now they're going to say third personal foul on Watson.
They're going to get Watson with the foul, but I thought there was more contact from Jacobson. But either
That's
way,
what I thought too.
2 free throws for Brandon Miller. The first one is good. 63-60. And Ed Morrow will check back in for Nebraska. One final rest for him, and he's back into the game. And Michael Jacobson sits down.
In the words of John Baylor, cardiologist passing out business cards. The tension of this game is just unreal as that free throw goes in.
2-possession game now. 1:30 to go. 64-60. Gardner-Webb on top of Nebraska. Glenn Watson Jr. running the offense, gives it to Ty Webster, working off a screen from Morrow. He won't take it. 2-3 zone defense for Gardner-Webb. Watson trying to work his way inside. Outside McVeigh. He'll try a three. Can't get that one to fall. Rebound goes to Gardner-Webb after a scramble between Ed Morrow and Tyrell Nelson, and Gardner-Webb is running the other way. Inside, Nelson has the ball stripped, but a foul is called.
Oh, my.
I think they're going to get Anton Gill with a foul, who just checked into the game. Nope, they're going to get Ed Morrow.
And that's his fourth.
That's Morrow's fourth foul.
Oh, my.
And Tyrell Nelson was fouled on his way up on a shot, so he'll go to the free throw line. Nelson today, 1 of 3 from the line. Gardner-Webb, 13 of 21 from the line today. That's 62% as a team. Nelson's first free throw is no good.
It's amazing. We said about free throws. We talked, that was one of our big keys of the game. Nebraska, the 13th best team in the country at 78. Gardner-Webb literally dead last, 347. These two teams shooting right around 60% from the free throw line.
1:05 to go, and the second free throw rattles home. 5-point lead for Gardner-Webb. 1:05 to go in the game. Nebraska cannot afford any more misses. They need a bucket. Here comes Nebraska, and Glenn Watson Jr. hands it off to Webster. Webster working his way inside. Jump stop. Gets the ball to go into the basket. Uses the glass on the low block. And Ty Webster, he'll do it all himself if he wants to. 56 seconds to go, and a timeout called by Tim Miles and Nebraska. 65-62. Gardner-Webb leads it, Tommy Rezac. It's getting tight here down the stretch. Nebraska needs a defensive stop.
I can barely breathe up here, Zach. This is unbelievable. But yeah, this is really, that was a big shot first off by Ty Webster. He now has the team high 17 points. But Zach Penrice, this is what happens when you come up across teams like this, whether it's in the Big Ten or in the non-con. So many times when you rely on 1 or 2 guys to do all the work, you get yourself into trouble late in games. I mean, why have we seen it so many times in the Tim Miles era? Why Nebraska can't finish? Because they rely on 1 or 2 guys. It's iso ball. It's spot offense.
Yep.
And they can't rely on a third scoring effort to get it done. You know, Webster 6 of 14 and Watson 5 of 9. They have 17 and 14 respectively. Then you look down the list. Gill 1 of 6. McVeigh 1 of 6. Jacobson 2 of 7. Morrow 2 of 5. I mean, we'll see what they do defensively. Gardner-Webb hasn't had an offensive shot in the last 3 minutes.
Gardner-Webb will try and break this Nebraska press here as they get it into their point guard, LaQuincy Rideau, who's working against Glenn Watson. And the press backs off for Nebraska here. 50 seconds to go in the game. LaQuincy Rideau working against Watson. Nebraska in a man-to-man defense. 15 on the shot clock. You suspect Gardner-Webb will take this all the way down. Rideau still working against Watson.
Gardner-Webb has 2 timeouts.
Now over to the left side. Rideau trying to work his way inside. Now dishes it off to Effiani. Puts it up and in. What a shot for Gardner-Webb. That could just put this game on ice. Here come the other way for Nebraska. It's Ty Webster. Dishes it off to Watson. Inside Jacobson. Foul, and the shot won't go down. But 2 shots are coming for Michael Jacobson.
Rideau with a ridiculous assist to Effiani. That's the 5th dish of the game by Rideau. 5 boards, 5 assists, 7 points by Rideau with 4 fouls. What? My goodness. But keep in mind, if Jacobson can sink both, it's a 1-score game. Not over yet. 20.6 on the game clock.
His first free throw does not go in.
Oh, my.
Story of the game for Nebraska is Michael Jacobson misses the first, and now Nebraska's 15 of 25 from the line. Give him 60% from there.
Jacobson himself, 1 of 4. And now Gardner-Webb will burn one of their last timeouts. And people get in their coats. They've seen enough. Zach, I said it at halftime when we weren't on the air. I called it. I said this was this year's Samford. I didn't think it was. I said that with a bit of, sarcasm almost, but it's uncanny. If this thing holds out, 20.6 seconds to go, Nebraska's going to have to foul and hope for a miracle. But if this thing holds out, that's 3 years that a dud of a mid-major comes into Lincoln, Nebraska, here at Pinnacle Bank Arena, and wins.
That's all an interesting thought, but keep in mind, Nebraska could literally not have a better opponent for this kind of a situation to be against. Gardner-Webb is the worst free throw shooting team in the entire nation statistically. It hasn't really held up that way as much today.
I don't think that matters. If Gardner-Webb's 61%, Nebraska 60%. I think you have to throw that out the window at this point. But, yeah, it's ironic, to say the least, when you look at that number coming into today.
Jacobson's second free throw with 20 seconds to go here is short. Rebound for Nebraska. Can't go as well. Anton Gill tried to tip it in from about the Big Ten logo close to the free throw line, and it almost went down but didn't get it. And they're going to get Michael Jacobson with a foul here. Jacobson missed both of those free throws. That's just killer if you're Nebraska.
1 of 5 Jacobson is from the line today.
And now Nebraska is getting outshot from the free throw line today. 61% for Gardner-Webb, 58% for Nebraska. And Gardner-Webb, I cannot stress this enough, is 347th in the nation in free throw percentage.
This is the 12th game in history, the 12th Big Ten opponent they have faced. As that free throw goes in, this will go down as only their third ever win over a Big Ten school.
Unbelievable. Tyrell Nelson, who better to be at the line here to try and put this game on ice? 24 points. This could give him 25. But he leaves it short. Rebound to Ed Morrow. Who else would it be?
They just wasted like 3 seconds. They just now get it across the timeline.
Webster Watson for 3. Can't get that one to go. Rebound goes to Nelson. Dishes it outside to Liam O'Reilly.
Oh, my.
Who goes all the way to the rack and scores. It's 70-62.
How about a cherry on top? Wow. I like the gutsiness of that. Wow. Unbelievable.
That will do it. That all just happened, ladies and gentlemen. Gardner-Webb defeats Nebraska 70-62 behind an amazing effort from Tyrell Nelson and the rest of his Gardner-Webb Bulldog teammates. An unbelievable game and a great finish here on 90.3 KRNU. Well, we'll be right back for our post-game thoughts in the Husker Countdown post-game show with Tommy Rezac and myself, Zach Penrice. Again, the final here from Pinnacle Bank Arena. Nebraska falls to Gardner-Webb 70-62.